On August 30th, 2023, law enforcement in Ivins, Utah, received a 911 call that would unravel a tragic case of neglect that would not only take the world by storm, but had been broadcast to the public for nearly 10 years.
911, the address of your emergency. Okay, and the phone number you're calling from. Tell me exactly what's happened.
I just had a 12-year-old boy show up here at my front door asking for help. And he's said he just came from a neighbor's house, and we know there's been problems at this neighbor's house. He's emaciated, he's got tape around his legs, he's hungry, and he's thirsty. His ankles are taped up, and he won't tell us why.
Okay.
But he has duct tape around each ankle. Yeah, there's sores around them. I think there's a good chance he's been...
He also said...
Oh, and he has them around his ankles. I mean, his wrists as well. Okay, this boy has been... He needs... This kid has obviously been... I think he's been detained. He's obviously covered in wounds.
Okay. Let's get the paramedics headed over that way, okay? Okay.
He says what's happened to him is his fault.
That's not perfect. That's sad to hear.
Family YouTuber Ruby Franca showed her family of 8 off to the world on her YouTube channel, 8 Passengers. From 2015 to 2022, she gave parenting tips, showed intimate conversations between herself and her children, and let the public get a peek into her and her children's happy home life. From the outside, things looked perfect.
Good morning.
It's time.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mom. Happy birthday to you.
Nervous to do. Oh, those are the big dancers.
I was very relieved. Oh, squirrel.
Squirrel where?
In the beginning, they appeared to be a happy, wholesome family. So, how did their youngest child end up skin and bones, shivering in a closet with a shaved head, too afraid to even look or speak at law enforcement that was trying to help her?
I'll just sit here with you.
And how did her mother, once a guide for loving parenting, end up calling her husband from jail to say this?
Adults have a really hard time understanding that children can be full of evil and what that takes to fight it. You've seen what it takes to fight evil.
The shocking details of the horrible lengths Ruby went to fight the evil she saw inside her children, who were just 9 and 12 years old, has just come to light. But in recent years, there have been signs that things weren't quite what they seemed with the family.
I have nothing to do. What do I do?
Be quiet.
I'm only going to say it one more time, and then you're going to lose the privilege to eat dinner.
Oh, sheesh. Sorry.
Oh, you just punched me in the eye.
I'm so sorry.
Ruby Frank's YouTube channel, 8 Passengers, often showed hints that things weren't always as they seemed, but for quite some time, it was ignored. Ruby and her husband, Kevin, had a large platform with hundreds of vlogs about their family. Whether this was documenting their daughter getting braces, another daughter struggling with wetting the bed, or conversations with her oldest son about dating, nothing seemed to be off limits for the family. To some, this was a refreshing look at daily family life. People took the advice that Ruby presented on parenting to heart, and the tips she gave seemed to be harmless for the most part. After all, from the outside, her kids seemed like happy, healthy, all-American kids, and the footage she presented was full of heartwarming family moments. But to many, this was an exploitation of her children for money. After all, while Kevin worked at Brigham Young University as an engineering teacher, Ruby made her income from putting her children on camera for almost their entire childhoods. It wasn't until 2020 that 8 Passengers found themselves in the spotlight for problematic behavior, and it all began with one video.
My bedroom was taken away for 7 months, and then you give it back like a couple weeks ago.
I don't think our viewers know that.
You've been sleeping on a beanbag.
I've been sleeping on a beanbag since October, and they gave my room back like 2 weeks ago. Oh, I'll give you the reason why I lost my bedroom. I think so. I think this is the reason. At least this is the reason that's been in my head. It's pretty funny, but now that I look back, I mean, it's pretty depressing.
No, we never told our viewers.
That I woke Russell up at 2 in the morning and told him that we're going to Disneyland and he has to pack. And he got up and made his bed all neatly and then packed all his clothes in a suitcase. And then he walked out the door and I'm like, Russell, he was like, what? And he's all happy. Has his sunglasses on.
Do you think it's funny? Because
and then I walk out.
If you think it's funny, then that was 7 months ago. Maybe you need longer without a bedroom.
It was not funny.
Russell got the big bedroom and Chad got the smaller bedroom. And Russell's bigger bedroom also had a bathroom. But what you guys didn't know was Chad didn't get any room. He didn't get anything. He was sleeping on the floor in the family room. Abby, we took the phone away from Abby in November. And you may never get the phone back.
Probably not.
Now I have no friends.
You can play with friends.
No, like I don't have friends.
I don't have friends either.
I literally like told my friends I'm not hanging out with them anymore because they say some pretty messed up stuff.
I don't even know where they live. They're pretty far away.
So, summer goal, become the best athlete I possibly can.
When Ruby's oldest son, 15-year-old Chad, exposed that his parents had forced him to sleep in the family room on a beanbag chair for 7 months, public concern arose about the harmful punishments Ruby gave her kids. Those concerns were only worsened by more footage of Ruby punishing her toddler daughter, the same daughter that would later be rescued by police.
If you cut one more thing in my house, I'm going to take the scissors, look at me, and I'm going to cut its head off.
Grandma will be so mad.
So what are you going to do?
Are you going to cut anything else?
No.
You promise? Just got a text message from Eve's teacher, and she said that Eve did not pack a lunch today, and can I bring a lunch over to the school? This happens quite often when you're raising children, because I know that her teacher is uncomfortable with her being hungry and not having a lunch, and it would ease her discomfort if I came to the school with a lunch. But I responded and just said, Eve is responsible for making her lunches in the morning, and she actually told me she did pack a lunch. So the natural outcome is she's just going to need to be hungry. And hopefully nobody gives her food and nobody steps in and gives her a lunch.
Withholding food from a child is illegal, and tragically, over time, it became one of Ruby's favorite parenting tactics to get her children to behave. According to Kevin, when this footage came to light, 8 passengers lost 90% of their income, and Ruby began to spiral. In her spiral, his relationship started to crumble, and Ruby needed someone to lean on. That person was Jodi Hildebrandt, whom Ruby would be arrested with only a few years later. Jodi was a popular therapist within a tight-knit church in Utah who ran a group called Connections that claimed to help people, specifically couples, strengthen their connections and heal all destructive behaviors. To do this, she would separate husbands and wives for individual therapy sessions and encourage them to take time apart from one another. In 2020, when their marriage began to dissolve, Ruby developed a close relationship with both Connections and Jodi, bringing Kevin along for the ride.
The fall of 2020, the Hannahs were trying to convince and bring Ruby into thank you. Thanks. Into this organization called Connections, and that particularly were focused on things like lust versus love, and healthy marriages, happier marriages, happier relationships. She invited me to go to it was like a conference or something held at Thanksgiving Point in Lehigh. And my impression at that time was this is absolute craziness. This is a bunch of man-hating women that are just looking for excuses to tear down their husbands. And I mean, that's what it felt like to me when I was in there. It was confusing because there were people that I respected a lot that were up on the stage with microphones in hand, giving testimonials of how great this was and how it changed their lives and their marriage, and like the Hannahs were among them, and so, yeah, it was confusing.
As a result of their first few meetings with Connections and the men's and the women's groups, Jodi and Kevin reportedly sat down and had a deep conversation.
2 hours, Ruby very emotionally just shared how she felt in our marriage and how the things that I, over 20 years of marriage, asking for sex as a husband frequently, or asking her to wear lingerie, or things like that, how that made her feel. And it was really emotional, and it touched me. Like, I didn't realize that she felt so strongly about that she felt so hurt by that. And so I committed that I would really give it a go. And I stayed in the men's group. And so, in that men's group, I met with Jodi every week.
During those meetings with Jodi, Kevin tells police that he was led to believe his lust for his wife was sinful and that he had evil within him. Kevin goes on to explain how Ruby's relationship with Jodi progressed, all while he and Ruby's crumbled.
We went out to like a dinner afterwards, and that's where Jodi really opened up to the women in a private conversation that she believed she was being tormented and haunted by shadow figures every night, and that was spooky.
He claims that soon after Jodi's strange admission to the women, Jodi moved in with a group of women from the Connections group, and things didn't go as planned.
According to Jodi, she was held against her will for 6 weeks and was kidnapped, and she escaped and got out. According to the Hannahs, after 6 weeks of Jodi stabbing herself with forks and knives, cutting herself, and wanting to commit suicide and trying to seduce the husband of the family, they kicked her out. I don't know what's the truth. Maybe a little bit of both, I don't know. But the point is, somewhere around mid-April, Jodi was back in her home in Ivans, and she was a hot mess.
With Jodi a wreck, Ruby offered Jodi an opportunity to move in with them. This is where things somehow became even worse. And at times, Kevin even suggests things were supernatural.
I gotta say, I'm a smart guy. I'm an engineer. I've designed and helped build some really big stuff. I've been a college professor. I can't explain some of the stuff that happened while we were there. Like crashes in the basement while we were talking upstairs, and plates like in the kitchen just flying off by themselves, like full speed, smashing on the wall and falling to the floor like by themselves. I can't explain it, but I saw it with my own eyes, and I don't have any way to explain it other than there's some crazy going on. The moment she showed up in my house, just the weirdest crap started happening. Lights turning on and off, sounds of people walking in walls, and sounds like footprints going up walls and across the ceiling, and like stuff floating around, and it was weird, and I hated it.
Though the claims about the supernatural are concerning enough, the behavior and rules reportedly set for Kevin by Jodi and Ruby give just a small glimpse into what life would become for their poor children.
It was hard. Basically, there were all these rules now placed on me. Like, I could leave when I wanted, but I couldn't come back until Ruby gave me permission. I couldn't come into the kitchen to eat until Ruby gave me permission. And the upstairs where Jodi roamed was completely off limits. I couldn't go upstairs anymore in my own house. And there would be, Ruby would dictate all of the terms of how our interactions would be, when we would talk, and that was hard. And it was during that time that I really became, I would say, dependent upon Ruby. Like, if she said a kind word to me, like, my whole day was made, right?
How big of an investment was she talking about? What did she tell you?
She never did, and I never signed anything. She never brought anything to me. But when I returned to the house, everything was packed up, and a neighbor came over and said she asked for the HOA rules and mentioned to him that she wanted to rent the house out. Which I was like, yo, are you kidding me? And apparently she wanted to sell the house, but couldn't because my name was on the mortgage. And I think that's what she was talking about, of, will you sign something if I just put it in front of you? And you know what? I probably would have. Like, that's how messed up I was.
I'm glad you didn't.
Me too. That would have been disastrous. But I can't describe to you what torture and hell it was to live an entire, it was more than a month really, in complete isolation. Believing that I was like evil and, I mean, manipulative and lying and selfish, and that I had abandoned my family, and that I was more interested in my selfishness than my family.
Kevin struggled to live in those conditions, being told he's evil, not being able to eat or sleep when he wanted, but chose to leave his children behind to experience the same exact thing. He moved away from the family and hadn't seen his children in over a year. The moment that you're about to witness is shocking, and it's just the beginning. Over the course of this video, there are 5 incidents caught on camera that are not only heartbreaking, but truly unbelievable. When the fateful day of August 30th, 2023 rolled around, Ruby's 12-year-old son, who we will refer to as R, approached a neighbor's house in Utah and knocked on the door. His legs are stick thin, and he appears as if he is almost too weak to knock on the door. After 2 minutes of waiting, he wanders to the next house in search of help. At the next house, he receives an automated response telling him that no one is home. In dire need of help, he shuffles on, but soon the door opens for him.
Yes.
Hi, I was just wondering if you could do 2 favors.
Well, what are they?
Taking me to the nearest police station. Well, actually, just one's fine.
What's going on, son? Have a seat there.
It's personal business.
The family who R has come to for help soon bring him food. His bones are visible through his clothes, and it's clear that he's been through nothing short of torture. When EMTs arrive to put R in an ambulance, they find something disturbing. His wounds from being bound around his wrists and ankles are infected. Honey mixed with cayenne pepper was slathered on them, and they were then wrapped in duct tape. R sitting in the ambulance is a heartbreaking sight.
How did you get the ropes on you? Who did them? You're not in trouble with me, okay? We're just trying to figure out what's going on. Our main focus right now is you, okay? Who put the ropes on you? Supposed to help you what?
Knowing that Ruby has 4 children who are under the age of 18, police hurry to Jodi's house to see if they can locate them. It seems that Jodi has been expecting them because she already has her attorney on the phone when the police open the door.
Jodi, I need you to step out.
I have my attorney.
That's great. Step out of the house.
No, I'm not going to step out of the
Step
house.
out of the house. Step out of the house.
Whoa.
We're just gonna see if anybody else. Is there anybody else home?
Wait a minute, how do you come to my house?
Right there.
They go into my house.
Just have a seat right there.
Do you have a search warrant?
Have a seat right there.
Do you have a search warrant?
Have a seat right there. I'll explain everything after. Have a seat right there.
Do you have a search warrant, sir?
Control 12X11, can you hold the air? We're searching the house.
I can tell you what's in the house.
Okay. Just have a seat right there for me.
Do you have a search warrant?
We'll explain it after this.
You can't just come into my house without a search warrant.
We'll explain everything after this, ma'am. Okay. Well, that's one of the reasons why we're here. So we'll explain after everything's done, after we clear the house and make sure everything's fine in there.
But why are you coming into my house without a search warrant?
We'll explain it after this.
But that doesn't make sense. You come into my house and do what you want, and then you tell me you don't have a warrant?
No, we'll explain why we did.
But don't you have to have a warrant?
Not at this moment, we don't. We're here on exigent circumstances. And I'll explain it after this, after my sergeant and the officer are done clearing the house.
Exigent circumstances are situations that require immediate attention, which allow law enforcement to investigate a property without receiving a warrant for the search. In this case, the damage done to R, and the knowledge that there could be more kids in the house is enough reason for police to break down the door and enter.
Is there anybody else in the house?
Yes.
2 kids?
There's a little girl.
Just one?
She's right over here.
Okay. How old is she?
She'll be 10 next week.
Okay. And she's on this side?
Mm-hmm. I have Airbnb guests over there. Probably scared them to death.
Okay.
Jodi's concern for her Airbnb guests, rather than the child that is hiding in her closet, nearly starved to death, really demonstrates where her priorities lie. Inside, law enforcement makes their way through the massive mansion until they finally find E, Ruby's youngest daughter, who is just 9 years old. She is too afraid to talk, speak, or move.
You come in, my buddy. I'm a police officer. Are you okay? You need here? Hey, you okay? Is it just you in here? I'm Sergeant Tobler. What's your name? I just have one. Where's your sister at? Contact one. You okay? Huh? You doing okay? You don't want to talk to me? Yeah, that's okay. Can you come with me though?
Officers ask E where her sister is, unaware that she is the sister they are referring to. With a shaved head, they assume that she is one of Ruby's sons. In a shocking journal that would soon be discovered inside the house, Ruby wrote why she shaved her daughter's head.
Soon after, however, Kevin found Ruby. The other 2 kids who weren't present at Jodi's house were located at a church friend's house where they appeared to be in a physical condition in their siblings, though they seemed fearful of police. Her underage children were all given the Utah Division of Child and Family Services. Her 2 children over the age, Chad and Shari, both expressed their at their mother's arrest. Shari posted to her Instagram, stating that they had been trying to get CP help removing the children.
This is just one of the heartbreaking notes that give insight into why E has such a disheartening reaction when police try to help her. For the first hour, she hardly speaks, no matter how reassuring the police are.
We got Jodi out here. You know Jodi? She's outside with us. You take your time, bud. I'm in no hurry. I'm a police officer. Did you know that? I don't mean to hurt you at all. You doing okay? Are you scared? Yeah? You're okay. Do you need help? You want to come with me? No? I'm not going to hurt you. Promise. See this right here? It's a badge. It tells me I don't hurt people. I'm just here to make sure you're okay. You're in no way in any trouble. I'm not here to hurt you. I just want to make sure you're okay. And I get if you're scared. I would be too. Okay? You want to come with me?
101 to do
I'm just going to sit down. It's okay if I just sit here with you. We don't have to say anything. If you don't want to. Okay?
Control on 01. Going to be Utah.
I'll just sit here with you.
Police bring E a pizza, hopeful that she will finally eat something. It's clear from the color of her face and the thinness of her body that she is starving.
I'll put the screen, okay? When you're hungry, you can eat. There we go. Whew. Thanks, yeah.
And yet, it takes E several minutes to slowly open up the box and take her first bite of food. There's no telling how long it has been since she has eaten. E managed to eat not only the whole personal pizza, but half of an adult-sized large pizza in one sitting. However, hours later, she was still unresponsive to officers. They send in a female officer to comfort her, and gradually, it begins to work.
You don't want to talk? Okay. There's nothing at all you want to talk about at all? It's okay to talk to me. Are you scared? Nervous. What? Just nervous. So can we carry you from there? It's the right choice. I promise. Pinky promise. We helped your brother. And we got him some help too. And that's what we want to do for you. Is we want to get you some help too. We are safe. We will not hurt you, and we won't do anything to hurt you.
Nearly 4 hours after police located E in the closet, they finally managed to get her to follow them to the safety of the station. That alone speaks to how much manipulation, torture, and neglect E has faced at just 9 years old. While some officers helped poor E, other officers located a massive safe room within the house. Fearing that the other two children were inside, they went to Jodi in hopes of getting the code.
Is there an officer that's close by you?
No, he's standing. I don't know who he is, but yes.
My lieutenant.
He's lieutenant.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
You have a room downstairs that has a safe wheel on the front. How do we get access to that to ensure that there's no one else in this home?
Adam.
They do need to search if there's nobody else, so I think you can give them access to make sure there's nobody in there.
And then you don't have to tell me the code if you just want to open it. We're going to go in and make sure that nobody's else there, and then we'll sit down and have a conversation after that as far as why we're here. That makes sense?
Yes, it makes sense. And
Do you want to open it then?
I don't know if I have the code.
Does he have the code
No.
and he can tell you the code and that's just between you two?
No. That thing has been locked for a couple of years, and I would have to call whatever.
Okay, is that a panic room or a room where...
It's a room with a toilet, with a sink.
Toilet and a sink, and you don't know the code?
I haven't used it.
Okay. Alright. Where we're at? Let's get info from...
You got to call the safe company? Is that who you have to
I
call?
assume that's where I have to call.
Okay.
This hasn't been at the top of my priority list.
Yeah.
Without Jodi knowing the code, officers will have to break down the door. They tell Jodi that they are seeking out a search warrant, which Jodi isn't pleased with.
Hey, are you still have your attorney on the phone? Okay. I just want to advise you of our intentions. It seems like there's a room we can't get into. We're getting some conflicting information. We're going to go draft a search warrant and we'll be right back, okay?
What does that mean, a search warrant?
What's that?
What does he mean, a search warrant?
I'm just going to get a warrant from the judge.
You're already here, though. I don't understand what that means.
They'll explain it to you when they give it to you.
Getting conflicting information from...
I don't know. I don't know who they talk to since we've been here. Like I said, well, the reason Lieutenant Studley said the reason why we're here is to make sure everybody was okay. That everybody was, the condition we found. The search warrant, I imagine, is going to be do a more in-depth search of the house. Right now, it's just safety and security of the people.
Got it.
Making sure they're okay.
No, I see your position.
Yeah.
That's why I'm crying.
Yes.
I see why you think this is an issue.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah.
While police work on gaining access to the room, Jodi has questions she wants answered.
Okay, you want to put on speaker? Okay, hold on. Okay, you're on speaker.
Law officer, so the other individual, I don't know if that was you, mentioned that you would explain the purposes behind what you thought were the exigent circumstances. Can you tell us those now?
I can't. You'd have to talk to my sergeant or lieutenant about that.
Could you get them, please?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Let's see. LT? She's on the phone with her attorney.
Okay.
He's asking what the reasons why we're here. Because when I pulled her out, I told her, I was like, we're just here, exigent circumstances required us to be here. So he was like, what are those? I was like, you'd have to talk to somebody
No,
else.
I'll talk to his face, but I'm not going to talk to him on the phone.
Do what?
Yeah, no, I can talk to him on the phone. Is that your attorney?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, sir.
Hey.
Hey, it's Lieutenant Studley. Hey, so we're not going to have any conversation over the phone. We'll probably do that in person. Is there a time that we can sit down and meet?
Well, there is. I'm getting on a plane, so it would need to be Friday.
Okay.
Could we do Friday?
Absolutely. What time Friday works for you?
Well, could we do in the afternoon?
You tell me what time I will be available.
Jodi, would 4 o'clock on Friday work?
Yeah.
You want Jodi there, I presume?
Yes.
Okay. And you are supposed to announce yourself and explain the purpose. Can you at least explain that to Jodi while I'm on the phone?
Not yet, but I can do that with you on the phone. But again, there won't be any dialogue. We received a report of an emaciated juvenile that had duct tape around his extremities that was asking for food and water. And based on that information, there are other people in the home, so we're ensuring that there is nobody else in the same condition. So under that exit sheet C, we've entered the home.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Lieutenant, we will plan on Friday at 4.
Okay.
Downstairs, officers finally managed to access the safe room in a heart-stopping moment. The room has a bathroom, a kitchen, and a Murphy bed. Strangely, it appears to only lock from the outside, which makes it seem to be much more like a cell than a safe room. In the drawers, law enforcement finds the most shocking evidence yet, and it looks to have been used much more recently than 6 years ago, as Jodi has claimed. Finally, Jodi is taken into custody. Soon after, Ruby is taken into custody. She chooses not to speak or acknowledge detectives.
How are you? Alright, well, it feels good in here. So, hey, Ruby asked this, and I know you said that you're already detained, but I'm going to be taking you back to the police department. Okay, so I'm going to be pop up. See if I can fit through here.
You want to put on one of our vehicles?
Yeah, you want to. Okay, just place your hand on your back for me. Perfect. And then, right now, I can put a finger in each of these, okay? And I'm just going to double up those so they don't tighten up on you on the way out there. Where's your car?
It's out there.
Yeah.
About by the command.
You don't have anything on you that I should know about, correct? Any weapons, anything that we're going to find. Before you put you in a police vehicle, we need to search your person to make sure you don't have anything on you. Is there anything you have on you? Okay, I'm going to search you before we put you in his car. That's just protocol, so I'm just going to have you step right over here and then just widen your legs, widen your stance. Yep, perfect. Are you wearing a bra? Okay, I'm just going to go like this through and make sure you don't have anything. You said you're not wearing a bra? Okay. Is that just like a tank top under here? Okay. up your hair. Okay. Alright, you're just gonna walk with Officer Hines.
No, go out this way.
And then, hey Hines.
You want me this way or that way?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then if you want to go down the downstairs into the interview room downstairs.
Sounds good.
You going down or I'm going down? You're going down.
I appreciate it. I was gonna ask you to come turn my car off, but I'm leaving now, so we're good. It's still on.
When they arrive at the station, Ruby is still reluctant to talk to the police. Her interview lasts less than 10 minutes.
Was this your water? I'm gonna...
It's yours if you want it. We'll say that. How's that?
We also have snacks if you need anything to eat. So I know I introduced myself to you earlier, but my name is Detective Bates, and this is Sergeant Tobler. We're just here to talk to you about kind of a few things involving your kids. So first, do you live down here, or? Or do you live up north? Do you want to talk to me about where you live, or how many kids you have? So we just spoke with your husband, and he said you guys have 6 kids. Are those all together? Are those all your kids? I can wait all day, so it's up to you if you want to talk to us about what's going on. Would you feel more comfortable talking to one of us?
Or do you want me to I can step out if you want?
Or if you feel more comfortable talking to him, I can step out.
I'll wait till I have a lawyer.
Okay. So you don't want to talk to us at all? Do you want to answer that? Or you don't want to talk to us about anything?
So yeah, this is just your chance to tell us. We're just trying to get your side of the story. So it's your chance to do that. But it's up to you. We're just here to talk. And I mean, I'm not asking any criminal questions. If you don't want to talk to us, just let us know and we'll be done.
I've already told you.
That you want a lawyer? Okay.
Jodi is a nervous wreck in her interview, but she does speak much more to detectives than Ruby.
How long you lived here in Islands?
6 years.
6 years. The same house? Wow. You married? Single?
Where'd you move from?
Utah County.
And how long were you up there for?
I'm a little nervous.
You're that. You know, to be honest with you, if I was sitting over there, I'd be a little nervous too. So don't worry about it. We're just here to talk, to get your side. And right now, we're just asking you just typical questions, like how long you lived here, that kind of thing.
I watched too many detective movies.
Have you?
Which one's your favorite?
Me too. You can't, honestly, I sit there and I'm married and I sit there and watch those with my wife and I say, like, we don't, that's not how we do it. Hey, that's not right. So there's some good ones out there, don't get me wrong. But most of them are probably a little off base. We're not as mean. I won't get up and beat you up. We don't do that.
We just want to get to know you a little, so if you just kind of want to share a little about yourself and what brought you down here. And
So I trust my attorney. He said, don't say anything And I said, I have nothing to hide. And he's like, I know that, but just let me be there with you when we talk. So you guys seem nice people.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm trying to be difficult. This is really, if you knew all the pieces, I think you'd have a lot of empathy for what's going on.
That's what we're looking for. And you're an adult, and the thing about our interview, if we ask you any questions that you don't want to answer, you can just tell us, I don't want to answer that question. But we do want to have a basis and an understanding of what's going on in that home, or what went on up north that brought them into your home.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you want to share any of that and you don't want to answer any other questions, that's okay.
I'd like to just tell you, but I don't know who you are. I don't know if you're gonna flip my words. I don't know.
And that's the good thing about cameras. Everything, it's pretty much double recorded, audio, video, and it's for the safety of for you and for us, because we don't want to flip your words. And this will all be pretty much right there to support you. So we're not going to use anything against you.
Why would be so insistent then? He's an honest, good man, goes to church. I trust him. Why would he say that to me then?
I don't know. I don't know your attorney, to be honest.
Well, I'm just saying he's a good, honest man.
Yeah,
and I'm an honest person as well, so we get along great. And he just said, do not say anything.
Maybe just as an attorney,
they always say that.
They always want to be with their client. I'm not sure, but like I said, at any time, if you don't want to answer a question, you don't have to. So the ball's really in your court on what you do want to answer and what you don't. So,
well, I think it looks sad that I don't want to answer anything, but it's not because I'm trying to be difficult. I'm really hanging on what he told me to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, who's your attorney?
Adam, his father's an attorney, his brother's an attorney.
Is he local?
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, I don't know.
He's on the street where the town hall is.
Well,
They all have the same name.
The whole reason we're sitting here today is there's a lot of questions we have that we just maybe misunderstandings that we just need to clarify. And
I know, and I'd love to tell you if he were here, because I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with what I say. You know, I'm a psychologist. I've watched people flip things all the time, so I get it. I sit on your side. I get it. I wish people didn't do that, but they do.
well, if you're not willing to answer any of the questions about yourself, would you be willing to answer any questions maybe about Ruby or Kevin that you could help us understand? We just honestly want to understand what their dynamic is, what happened to the children, what caused their separation.
Right.
And after talking to Kevin, it sounds like you know a lot about their dynamic and their relationship. So if you could help us understand that at the least, that would be awesome. And that's nothing incriminating towards yourself because it's not pertaining to you. So if you could help us understand that.
Jodi, we're going to do this. You asked for your attorney, and we'll leave it at that. We'd like to maybe talk to you later when you have your attorney here present.
Absolutely.
And we'll go
He
down
made an
there, okay?
appointment at 4 on
He made
Friday.
an appointment
Here.
here at 4.
He talked to the officer
Okay.
and said, "Can we make a time?" And he said out loud, "Do not talk to them."
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll talk and see if we can schedule that, and maybe that's just something we just do with your attorney. Okay.
It seems that neither Jodi nor Ruby understand the full extent of the charges they are facing. When police uncover Ruby's notebooks and page through them, it becomes clear just how many charges there will be. Be warned, the descriptions that Ruby writes in her journal are as graphic as they are heartbreaking. On July 10th, 2023, a little over a month before the children were rescued, Ruby wrote in her journal,
"It's R's birthday, and he doesn't even know what month it is. E and R have been in so much deviant behavior, they won't control their bodily functions. They are both furious their selfish, sinful lifestyle is being intervened upon. I told R he emulates a snake. He slithers and sneaks around looking for opportunities when no one is watching, and then he scurries. If he wants to emulate the Savior, he needs to to be 100% obedient with exactness, no wavering.
Keep in mind that R is just 12 years old, being told by his own mother that he is selfish, sinful, and emulates a snake. What sneaking behaviors has he been up to in his mother's eyes? In one portion of the journal, Ruby details how he refused to do wall sets, so she has ordered him to sleep and live outside, only coming inside to use the bathroom. Then she writes this heartbreaking entry.
And then 2 hours later, he drinks water from the house. Steals water.
To Ruby, a 12-year-old child getting water from the house he lives in when he is forced to sleep outside is stealing and sneaking. In one entry, it becomes clear just how dehydrated and fed up R was.
R told me he would rather have a glass of water than me as a mother.
Tragically, it isn't just R who was forced into demeaning punishments and called names by his own mother.
E told me she figures they had been here 8 weeks. I asked E if she felt like she had made progress over the 8 weeks. Yes, I told her she was delusional. She has made no progress. She continues to lie and manipulate. Last night, her screaming and headbanging were evidence of no change.
And then another entry.
When E was outside today, it was hot. She acted like she was dying. So pitiful. I told her, E, the heat in hell is much hotter, and God is going to burn the wicked. So either get used to it or start changing.
As if these horrible details aren't enough to learn, police stumble upon an entry for the 15th of July that paints a picture of just how desperate R has been to escape and just how delusional Ruby has become. Apparently, R disappeared around midnight. Rudy then writes,
Then I see R walking on the road. I call Jodi to let her know. I turn the car around and stop. I get out and R is shocked to see me. Get in the car. Shocked to see me? R nods his head and gets in. I call Jodi with R. The sun starting lighting the roads just an hour and a half later. The devil wants me in prison. My children dead.
Ruby highlighting that the roads became light just an hour after she found R speaks to how afraid she is of being caught, and therefore that she knows she is doing something illegal. At the station, she doubles down on these beliefs. As she talks to her husband for the first time when she's arrested, it's clear that she has no remorse. In fact, finances and the public knowing about the case seem to be their main concerns.
Yeah?
Yeah, hi.
Okay.
When I saw how long this separation was lasting, I wanted to think of some ways that I could bring in money or make some money if you didn't ever come back. So that's when I asked if you would co-sign on a loan if I found a house. And maybe I could Airbnb it or rent it out, or I've been playing with numbers in my head and I think I could make something, but I don't want to be dumb. I want to be very conservative. So I pulled the money and I have it in a bag. And
with you? Do the police have it?
Well, I don't know what the police took. I don't know what the police have.
But the bag was at Jodi's house?
They can't just take people's money. I mean, that's not right.
Well, they're not going to take the money, but when they have a search warrant, they have access to everything in the house.
Sure. Yeah.
I have a feeling we're going to need that money.
The devil's been after me for years. And
they're going to be in the hospital for 3 days.
So weird. It's just not necessary. They're trying to exaggerate this. Oh,
they didn't show me.
Like the hero.
But they didn't show me any pictures or anything with the way they described it. It was very serious.
You have exceeded the allowable time for this call. Goodbye.
And please see the truth. I know it's obscured.
I'm where I see the facts, I see the truth, and that's what I'm gathering.
You know my heart.
What are they charging you with?
2 charges of second degree for child.
2 charges of second-degree child.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. That's very serious.
It's interesting, I had the prompting over the last month to read Viktor Frankl. I was reading him, and it was like, the worst part was not knowing the end. He said he had an inmate that's man search for meaning, and he was a prisoner in World War II, and he said the worst part and the greatest bringing of depression was not the lack of food, and it wasn't the weather conditions, it was not knowing how long it would last. So I think I was prepared for this. I do feel strong, I feel calm, and you know what, adults have a really hard time understanding that children can be full of evil and what that takes to fight it. You've seen what it takes to fight evil. It's not the person you're fighting. And it can look like something it's not. And you've been there, you know that. And so I don't know any adults who are going to see the truth. So I'm calm about this, and I just pray that you'll hang in there.
You have 1 minute remaining for this call.
I think I can call back, but...
Yeah, but just in case, I'm preparing to step up and fight for the children. They've been taken. And there's going to be a hearing in the next couple of days here in Provo.
I'm sorry, I signaled to Jodi. Will you say that one more time?
Yes, I'm prepared to step up and fight for the children. They've been taken into custody. They're in foster care, and there's going to be a hearing within the next 2 or 3 days.
What about Abby and Julie?
Them too, all 4 were taken.
Where did they go to get Abby and Julie?
I don't know. While I was with them, they got Abby, and they were looking for Julie.
Soon after, however, Kevin filed for divorce from Ruby. The other 2 kids who weren't present at Jodi's house were located at a church friend's house where they appeared to be in better physical condition than their siblings, though they seemed incredibly fearful of police. Her underage children were all given to the Utah Division of Child and Family Services. Her 2 children over the age of 18, Chad and Shari, both seemed to express their relief at their mother's arrest. Shari posted to her Instagram story, stating that they had been trying to get CPS's help removing the children for quite some time. Ultimately, both Ruby and Jodi pleaded guilty to 4 counts of the second degree for harming the children. Each sentence is for 1 to 15 years to be served consecutively, and those terms will be determined by the Utah Board of Prisons and Parole. In their plea deals, the 2 women agreed to testify against one another, which led to even more disturbing information coming to light. Ruby allegedly kicked her son with boots, held his head underwater, withheld food, forced the kids to carry books up and down stairs, stand in the direct sun for several days, and stay outside for several days at a time. These punishments resulted in serious sunburns and blistered skin. In addition, the children were denied water and were punished if they drank any, including out of the hose, which they were caught doing on more than one occasion. R was sometimes hogtied, and the handcuffs cut through his skin, damaging his muscles and the tissue underneath. E was forced to jump into a cactus multiple times as punishment. Both children were reportedly told that they were possessed and that this was the only way for them to become good. What not only these 2 kids went through, but the entire family, is a textbook example of emotional and religious manipulation. Jodi and Ruby remain behind bars to question their actions, yet the damage they have caused has created a web through the lives of their families and their church. Appreciate you tuning in. If you found this video interesting, please subscribe. Also, take a look at these 2 recommended videos we've picked out for you.